too long ago.
Hey,
Yo,
everybody. Welcome to the Mack Brothers podcast. I'm the Mack Brothers, and my special guest is the Mack Brothers. And Matthew, besides the fact that Drinkin In Work is out everywhere and everyone should listen to it,
yes.
I'm going to eat a fortune cookie live.
Can I guess what it's going to say inside first before you? I think
Well,
it's saying.
let me eat the first half first.
All right, and then let me make my guess. My guess is it says it's going to say a little something like everyone should go check out the Mack Brothers podcast, which now has our normal podcast and the Monday Mac on all podcast platforms, Spotify and Apple Podcasts, especially. We just put our first episode of the Monday Mac up there. We did with Scoopski, so go check that out, as well as Drinkin In Work. While you're already on those services, you could check out Drinkin In Work too. Was I right? Is that what it said?
That's pretty close. It actually is it's actually like a fucking joke.
Oh no.
Question: why do some people have headaches?
Why?
Answer: they've never used it before. That's my fortune.
It's a bad joke.
Terrible joke.
Is that your future? Is just one big bad joke?
And then my lucky numbers are 53, 51, 8, 2, 48, and 16.
Is that supposed to mean something to me? They're not my lucky numbers. Now you're sharing them with everyone, and now they're not lucky anymore. Now they're
That's not how lucky numbers
now they're
work.
common numbers.
That's not how they work.
John, what do we have to talk about this week? What do you have to talk besides the fact that there's a flash flood warning? What do we have to talk about this week? What's going on? What's happening? I have something to talk about.
Well, the NBA free agency's happening. We could talk about that.
We should definitely talk about that. All right, so let me set the scene as from somebody who's a little out of the NBA loop. To me, it just looks like everyone is very angry at the Sixers because we're probably gonna try to re-sign James Harden to like a huge contract, and we shouldn't.
No, so we can't re-sign him now until
he extended his player option, right?
He extended his player option for $36 million. And at first it was like, that's great because now we can trade him. But it turns out no one wants to trade for him. And the offers that Morey's getting are like pennies on the dollar. So he's probably going to stick with James Harden. James Harden will be a Sixer probably this season. But maybe even more egregious, it also came out that Tyrese Maxey's completely untouchable. And this is how it was worded by Brian Windhorst, who Wendy has been pretty on point. He worded it he said, if prime Michael Jordan's available, don't even bother calling for Tyrese Maxey. If 25-year-old LeBron James is available, lose the Sixers number. If Giannis Antetokounmpo wants to become a Sixer tomorrow, and the price is Maxey, it's not happening. So they value Maxey as if he's going to be
a Hall of Famer.
And which he might be. I love Maxey. I don't want them to trade him. But I think it's absurd when you got a 30-year-old Embiid, a now 34-year-old Harden. They even said they're not trading Tobias, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's dumb.
And they haven't they signed Patrick Beverly, who's just, I like Patrick Beverly, but he's old
and washed up.
I don't know how he wasn't that good last season.
He did say he's going to teach us how to win, though.
No, that was a fake.
Oh, that was fake. I was fooled.
Yeah.
I'm a fool.
You got NBA controlled.
I'm a fool on the internet.
That's the best. That's like one of my favorite things about Twitter. It's a lot of people's least favorite thing, but I like it. Is there's so many accounts, and all they do is they'll switch one letter in their like
Yeah.
so it looks like that's what NBA Central's saying, but it's actually NBA Centel.
Oh yeah. See, I just don't pay attention. That's my problem. But that's why I was fooled. I saw a tweet earlier this afternoon, and it said that China doesn't exist anymore. There's no China. I was totally fooled. I brought it up to my dentist. Oh, I have an annoying story. So I go to the dentist's office, right? Because I have this extra tooth in my mouth, and I have to get the tooth.
Lie.
Yeah, see, okay, we both have an extra tooth. Just I guess our backup, just in case we need it.
Dark Brothers.
Yes. So I went in and they looked at it and they go, okay, you got to get a scan. So then I went for a scan. So then today was my follow up from the scan to have a discussion if I should do it. Now, I don't know why this can't be a phone call, why I have to go in, but whatever. So I go in for that and they scheduled me with the wrong doctors. Now I have to go again tomorrow. Ain't that some bullshit? I was very upset.
So
And now I just burped too.
that's really
Yeah, it's really annoying.
funny.
It's really annoying. And you know what? When I was in there, all I could think about is how upset at the Sixers I am.
How about the did you see the Michael Rubin, speaking of the Sixers, Michael Rubin's
I did see
white party or whatever?
Yeah, I saw that like a million people that we like were there, including Tony Khan.
So many people, so much money in one place. It was unfucking believable.
I always imagine hypothetically if some sort of disaster would befall that white party, like how would the world react?
There was so much wealth in one place. It was fucking disturbing almost. And I just like kind of looked at like how Michael Rubin has so much money. So like he owns Fanatics.
Yeah, that's like FanDuel and all, right?
They own FanDuel. They also are like the only like they provide like all jerseys and stuff like that for a whole bunch of different professional teams. And like all the merch is made for all those teams that are Fanatics. They own FanDuel, and he just sold like he had like he had like 10% ownership of the Sixers, and he just sold it. So he got a lot of money for that. So he's worth like $11.5 billion or something like that.
Yeah, but Elon's worth like 150 billion. So Michael Rubin's, I look at him like a poor, like just like me.
I like.
What's crazy? What's crazy? If you think about the amount of money he has, me and him have way closer to the same amount of money than he does with Elon Musk. That's how much richer Elon Musk is than him. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
Elon Musk is worth like 20 Michael Rubins. It's fucking stupid.
I like Michael Rubin better. You know why? Because he's friends with Joel Embiid still.
He's not an evil billionaire.
I'll be honest with you. It felt very shady. There were so many people there. Imagine all the people, all the wealth that was there that we don't know who they are.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like
think of all the stuff that's being talked about there.
Yeah, ha ha ha. We control the world. Ha 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 ha.
But the cool thing though is like it's not like one of those like shady, like they're like drinking sheep blood and having each other like staple.
You don't know that.
You
don't know that, and you're not going to ruin that for me.
This is the new age of people controlling the world, the elites. This is
you're not going to ruin
everywhere.
No, you're not going to ruin the baby eating and the sheep's blood and the rituals and Satan. You're not going to ruin that for me, John.
Well, people are still doing that. It's just they're older.
No, these people were done. What do you think was how you saw the same minute and 30-second video I saw? As soon as those cameras were rolling, or the footage that was edited out, I guarantee you, they were killing extreme amount numbers of children.
They were eating the
They were eating them and they were drinking their blood. That's what they were doing.
yeah.
And if you actually look a little to the left, what you could see is in the background of one of the videos, you could see Jay-Z. If you look at on his belt, he's got a little upside down triangle on his belt.
Mm-hmm.
That means he's a baby eater supreme, John. That's level.
Well, you know
that's a level 3 baby eater.
The Rock, when they do that,
Oh yeah.
that's a
Trust
sign
me,
of the devil.
but that's a false flag for the real operation. Did you know about that? Trust me. I'm totally right about all this. Trust me. When I say Jay-Z has a large hand in the weather. Like, if he wants it to rain in Wyoming, it'll rain in Wyoming. It will. No, I actually was thinking about it. I wonder, like, if, like, I could be a con man for con men. Like, I can con other con men. I think I could. I totally think I could. Like, I think I could become a self-help guru for other self-help gurus and be like the ultimate self-help guru and just be totally full shit. Just make up new things every day that are meaningless. Like the air that you breathe is who you are.
I like that is some shit that someone would say too.
The comfort that you feel was always there. What the fuck's that mean?
You know what the book would be called? It just popped in my head.
What do you think the book would be called?
Fleeting Disposition.
I have a question for you.
What?
You can answer it as fast or as slowly as you want to.
It's going to be slow.
Rate of speech wise, I mean. Who do you think, right, in order from 1 to 3, who do you think most likely was snorting the cocaine in the White House?
Did you see all the names?
Yeah, I saw the betting odds.
You could bet, right? This is my bet. I was just talking about it with my woman. You ready?
Yeah.
For plus 2,500, I would take Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. What was he doing in the White House recently?
I don't know, but he was on the list.
Yeah.
And when you look at everyone on the list, especially the ones, so like, I think it's too obvious for it to be hunters. And I think as much as the Kelsey brothers act like they party, I don't think Travis Kelsey does coke. So then you start to go down the list and you see a couple names, but then like right around Matthew McConaughey, that plus 2,500, there's like Selena Gomez, Olivia Rodrigo, the college kids that just won their championships, or the men.
Olivia Rodrigo does Adderall. She doesn't do coke. Everybody knows that.
There's one guy at all those names that it just has to be, and I think it's Matthew McConaughey. So my money would be, I would bet, so if you bet $1 on plus 2,500, you win 2,500, I think, or you win.
I think it was.
I forget.
Number one, I think it may be Sleepy Joe, but I don't know if it was Sleepy Joe.
I don't think it was Sleepy Joe. He'd be more awake.
I number 2. Now you know who was number 1. I think Bill Clinton. I think it was Bill Clinton. I think he stuck back in because he wanted to, give it a go again. You know what I mean? What was he? So it was someone that wasn't on that list for sure.
Why do you think it's called the White House?
That's a really good point.
This shit was built
all on drugs. Like, they have to be on. Like, I wonder which president was on the least amount of drugs. Probably Barack Obama.
Yeah, I don't think
he was on much.
I don't think he did too much. He might have did some Adderall.
Yeah, I feel like Trump was on lots of drugs, like, all the time. Like, he was always on uppers. So he had to be.
He's on like speed and shit.
Yeah, he's all fucked up all the time. He's all fucked up.
He don't drink.
Biden has to. Biden has to be on some secret Prevagen. Like, there's no way he's not. Could you imagine him and Dianne Feinstein having a policy conversation?
It's crazy that these people are still two people that are in control of like major. Well, Biden's the president,
They're
and
both in the top
Feinstein,
100 most powerful people in the world.
yeah, and neither of them can make a sentence.
Yeah, they can't. Like when they do, like when Biden has a speech, like besides holding your breath because you're like, oh my god, it's my grandfather on stage in this doing this, and he could have a stroke or a heart attack at any minute.
Yeah,
When they string together a whole sentence, it's like an accomplishment. It's like what? And then the crazy thing is, Kamala Harris can actually she can say sentences, but her sentences are completely meaningless.
yeah.
I feel like I need to be Kamala Harris's main advisor because I feel like I could take what she does to the next level for sure. Yeah, you're looking out there like a window and you see the world and it's just there for your grasp. So go out and just grasp it and take your dreams and live them, your dreams. Just live in them
That's so annoying.
and feel happiness and radiance.
I want Marianne Williamson like real bad.
Yeah, I'm looking at my boy Cornell.
Yeah, I like Cornell.
I like Cornell West. Why
I
not?
just
I think the primaries are entirely for being radical and doing what you want.
but none of it's
The
going to matter.
general's different.
None of it's going to matter if there's no debates, which there's not going to be.
You know how I think about it? I think about it like I mean, I don't. It's for me like I'm so beyond. It doesn't matter that this is just like fun now. It's just for fun. So I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, like I'm gonna vote for who I want in the primary, and then like once the general election comes, then like I stop paying attention because then at that point, once you hit the general, then it really doesn't matter. Um, but in the primary, I like to pay attention and have a little bit of fun. It's a very interesting time, but I kind of look at it from like an American historical context, which that Louis C.K. podcast helped me do.
Yeah.
It did. It did. It did. It did. It did.
Is it raining where you're at?
It's a slight drizzle. Did it start raining over there?
I don't know. I'm tired.
You're tired. Good morning. I'm fine. I actually have coffee in my cup. I know whose Coke it wasn't at the White House. It wasn't John's. Gee,
Yeah.
someone's really tired. Somebody needs a line.
I've never done Coke. One time I was offered Coke in Fell. I was offered Coke a couple times, but I said no every time. But one time I was offered Coke in Fell, and I was outrageously drunk, and I instead of like just going no thank you, I flipped out and I was like, "What are you trying to fucking peer pressure me?" And he was like, "No, we're both adults. Do you want Coke?" And I said, "I'll fucking kill you." And then his big friend walked up and he was like, "Yo, do we got a problem?" And then Nick Lippery came up. Shout out to Nick Lippery. He came up next to me and he was like, "Yeah, I think we do have a fucking problem." And then people had to like break me and Nick up from beating these two guys up that were minding their business.
Cokeheads?
No, they were well. They were they. One of them did turn out to have issues, but at the time, I think they
Who
were
could have
just
saw that coming?
well, yeah, doing coke in a schoolyard at like midnight is a sign of things to come. But
Oh, I was being serious. Like no one could have ever predicted that he would have substance abuse problems.
but you know, sometimes you gotta. So you should be nice to the people that want to share their drugs with you, because it takes a lot for them to share. You know what I mean? Because drugs are
Yeah.
so fantastic to them that I should have been nicer and just said no, thank you politely. But I was drunk,
Yeah.
and I think I sometimes this is why I'm gonna stop drinking for a while because sometimes I just need to um sometimes I just need to get rowdy and I need to just someone turns into like a kind of a target when I'm drunk.
hmm
You know what I mean? So that's why I can't drink. I need that's why I need to take a break for a while.
Usually the umbrella too. You're like, oh, it's fucking umbrella. I've seen it.
Oh, I don't get it.
I've seen it. When you're drunk, you get mad at inanimate objects as well.
Yeah.
No,
Lots of people around.
I think not drinking is always a good thing for anyone. Um I just look at alcohol like a drug, like any other drug, and I'm like, well, it alters your conscious in this specific way. So like if when your consciousness is altered in a specific way, if it literally is a different version of yourself because your consciousness is totally different. And different parts of your psyche come into play in your subconscious. So it's like I almost feel like it's like having a sort of a mastery over yourself when you could like choose the consciousness that you want to be in. So it's like going like, that's not a good consciousness for me. I have to reject that for a while. But that might be like too much of a Freudian way to think about it. But that's kind of how I think about anything that changes your consciousness or your perception of the world. Like even an elevated heart rate is almost like it's just like a different you. Because once your heart rate goes above 120 BPM, your prefrontal cortex starts shutting down. So you're not able to, you're literally, and it's biologically designed for that reason, for survival situations that we used to encounter. You don't process information.
Yeah.
So it's like a whole crazy thing. It's insane. It's like if you slow your heart rate down, you think better. And it's statistically proven. It's a very interesting thing. Now, if you're unable to slow your heart rate down, that's crazy. But that's why I took that 15-year sabbatical and I was a monk for a long time.
Yeah. And
I
then
knew guys.
16.
I knew guys that like they could cut their lawn like with their feet in about a minute. Like they were really high level monks. Like that's kind of what I definitely think they were misusing the magical abilities that they developed on top of this mountain we lived on for 15 years. But it's not for me to decide. You know what I mean? Everyone's experience varies.
Yeah, you should just let the monks keep monking,
Yeah.
Don't monk it up for them.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
Matthew, that's the monkey of success.
It is, it is. I look at this stage of my life. I remember a while, maybe in the 50s of, like podcast episodes. I said I was in my Hemingway phase, and I still believe that because at a certain point, I don't know, like sometimes you get in a river and you just let it take you where it takes you. You know what I mean? And like if that means that like one day I end up living in a small fishing village for 4 years and I write an obscure book of poetry, then that's what I do.
Instead of writing an obscure book of poetry, why don't you start writing some more song lyrics to all your music ideas?
John, at these times you think, what would Hemingway do? And what you would do is you would be great for a long time and you disappoint everyone around you.
Yeah, wasn't he like a fat drunk? Like, who is Hemingway?
He turned into a fat drunk, I think. I don't know anything about him. But I think he's great enough that I want to model my life after what I know about him.
Lex Friedman had Bert on the podcast, and Bert was like, "I love Hemingway," and then he starts talking about Hemingway, and you realize Bert knows maybe like 10% more about Hemingway than we do, and he's
yeah.
Like, I want to be, I think about Hemingway all the time
because Lex Friedman's so analytical. He's like, I know Hemingway had a precondition to blah 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 blah, and he'll ask like an extremely specific Hemingway question, or like he'll be like, "What was your favorite line in like Hemingway's like fourth book or whatever?" And he's like, Bert Crusher, like, I don't know Hemingway wrote.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know he was an author. There's just something to be said about those like old, very like unique individual type people that like they're just interesting case studies throughout history. I mean, all of them have like by our modern standards like They've done terrible things,
Yeah.
but that does not make them. That doesn't disqualify. I mean, just because they were people of their era doesn't disqualify them for being an interesting historical case study.
You know, there's a couple of people in history that I really like I find interesting. Not that I like I want to model myself after them, but like Ben Franklin's like a big, like
He's interesting.
I find him really interesting. Um, but what I'm saying is that like I don't have a great retention of stuff like that. Like if I'm gonna remember something, it's music or sports or you know,
Bible study.
just those two things. And even things I'm interested in, even things I love, like I love like a lot of movies. I love The Sopranos, but there's very few like I'll see a scene from The Sopranos on Twitter and I'll go, "Oh fuck, I forgot that happened." I've seen The
Yeah,
Sopranos
yeah.
3 times.
Yeah, I have those moments. I'm not good when it comes to TV, and like I think that's another part about like learning. I can't remember movie quotes and shit. Like,
Yeah.
people like bust out a movie quote, and you're like, they'll be like, hats off to you, Ranger,
I
and
always
and I'm like, what? And they're
I
like,
always
oh, that's from 51st Dates, don't you know?
I always thought that like kids would do that in grade school. They would just have this plethora of knowledge when it came to all these fucking shows and all these movies, all the Adam Sandler movies and Jim Carrey movies. And I was like, yeah, they were all right. Like
You
none
know what?
of them were worth memorizing.
Let me drop a truth bomb on you, John. That's because we're not followers, we're leaders. We create.
Yeah.
We're natural born creatives.
I will say though that I fucking can recite some Anchorman.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when things hit you enough, I found that like I think for me it comes from being critical or just like I like kind of like what I like. So like I have to like something a lot to remember a quote from it. And usually like I don't know, like I find things that stick with me are like very random things that just strike me
Yeah.
in a particular moment. I'm like, okay, I got that. But like I'm bad at retention in just like day-to-day life. Like I have to write shit down because I know I'm gonna forget it. So I have to set myself reminders to do shit. I have to like put those things around me to keep myself like knowing what's going on, even for like a little bit.
I think too, the older well, I was always like not paying attention to shows and stuff, but I think the older I get, there's sports stuff that I'm not remembering. I still remember all the music stuff, but there's still sports stuff that I don't retain as much, and it's because my brain capacity is being used for work. Like there's a shit ton of stuff I need to know off the top of my head
Yeah,
about work. There's 10 different things I need to know if anyone asks at any given time that I need to
yeah.
remember. And then there's about 15 other things that I have a second to think about, but I still need to have an idea what I'm talking about. And that's like half of like I completely forgot about baseball stat. Remember me and you used to go back and forth and we would like memorize baseball stats?
Barry Bonds has 73 home runs, and Mark McGwire had 70, and Jim Thome had 68 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of it at all. I don't even I barely remember the 2008 championship, but like we were obsessed with baseball from like
Yeah.
2004 to like 2009.
Some people have those kind of memories.
Just it's just weird how like the brain works. I feel like though, like I inflame myself a lot with my diet, and I feel like well, I think not drinking alcohol is going to help with my brain retention. Um, but also when I start eating a little bit better, like my brain is going to be less inflamed. Everything's going to be less inflamed. That's better for your memory. It's better for your short term and long term memory.
Yeah, mental.
Yeah, I feel like you know I'm gonna be like a robot. I want to be a robot soon. Like I want to feel like a
A
robot.
robot?
Like I want to be like a not a robot, like a well-oiled machine. You know what I mean?
I'm John Bot.
And I think I'm getting there. I actually do feel like I feel strong. Right now I actually feel
Yeah.
weak, sleepy, but I'm feeling good.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that statement. You know, and I think it's just like you get older, you just start learning or learn I hopefully learning how to balance all those different things. You know what I mean? Because I feel like there's like a the only way to counteract like brain fog and all that is like proper at this point. I'm like, oh, okay, well the way you get rid of those things is like proper nutrition, proper rest, proper exercise. Like that's the only way that you could work those things out of yourself.
Yeah, right now I'm only properly exercising, but I feel like I'm on the upswing.
I think that's the main thing. It's about just keeping your ball moving in the right direction because like you're not going to be some days you're only going to be able to push the ball an inch, but at least you moved it forward a little bit. Some days you're going to move it like 10 feet and make like a lot of progress. Like you might have like a big accomplishment, but like some days you're just not gonna. But that's why we move into a part of the podcast when you want to elevate yourself. If you want to elevate your drinking game, you need to join the club, League Island Brewing Club. It's a sponsor of the pod. John, who likes League Island Brewing Club?
So it's funny you should ask that. I was actually speaking to him earlier. It's Jesus's favorite beer. It's not his favorite homemade beer. It's not his favorite family ran business. It's his favorite overall thing in the whole universe. Humanity's third. Mary Magdalene's Sweet Lovin's number two. And number one is League Island Brewing Club. That's Jesus' top three favorite things. So join the club. Join not this club, the other club. Matthew,
Yo,
I was thinking I want to do so like Bullet Club is really interesting to me because there's so many members and past members and they all still can kind of throw up the too sweet.
yeah,
I kind of want to do that with music. I want to like create like some kind of thing that's almost universal. Like we're the Philly whatever we
we
call
know
it.
what it is. We already have it. We already started it. It's the Mac Mafia.
The Mac Mafia is our thing, but I'm talking about something bigger. The Mac
Something
Mafia,
bacon. We got to
like
figure that out though.
like I thought there was an opportunity with Fuck the Algorithm that box of matches. Shout out to them. I guess they started. Um, there's a couple issues with that. One, um, there's only like 5 or 6 loyal people in that thing that will actually like everything that you do and comment on it.
Yeah,
And, like 3 or 4 of them are our actual friends, like Bees and Scoopski and Haha Charade and stuff.
yeah.
And I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple people, but there's only a few, and there was like 25 people in there, 30 people. That could have been it, but
Yeah.
something's got to be better. And I feel like I don't know what it is yet, but I think I'm going to create it.
I've been having similar thoughts. I mean, not probably comparing it to like Bullet Club, but like similar thoughts about what we're trying to build in general. Because I was thinking, I said, "Oh, we're creatives," and I was looking at I was watching some jazz this morning at like 7:30, and I love. I've just been on this like huge jazz fusion kick, and I've just been enjoying it, and like very particular. Like I'm actively searching through the related videos for like things that any sound that catches my ear, and then just like listening to it. And then what I was thinking was, I was like, as well as all of it, obviously we write our own songs. Is like we've talked about Mac Alley Studios, we've talked about those types of things, and I feel like that would definitely be an extension of this because um I feel like we're people that can evaluate talent also. And I feel like we're people that like have a lot of songs too that we can produce or that we can write and that we could like I feel like we could definitely be producers as well. like songwriters for other people, produce, which you've said in the past, but I mean like establish the groundwork more and then have it be, you know what I mean? Like have a space for like when we can do Mac Alley Studio. I mean, it might take a couple of years to build and whatever we got to do. I don't know. This is all like, you know, you talk and then you execute over long periods of time, like long-term planning. But like that's definitely something I see as like the older I get, the more I listen to music, the more I like different kinds of music, the more I'm like, I can't play jazz fusion.
Yeah. You
But
know
if
who's
I had a but if I had a studio and I can get Daryl Johns, who's like this like fucking virtuoso jazz bassist, to like come over and like play with his band and like help them record a record for like, you know, like for a little profit, like nothing gouging. Like I don't want to gouge people, but like profitable, obviously. But like music first, like I think that'd be really fucking cool. Because like I love that. Like I love listening to new artists, especially I think the Monday Max really like, and like the way we evaluate songs and the way like it's just helped me listen to so much more music that I wasn't listening to for a long time.
yeah. Um,
Definitely agree.
I agree. And let's end it with this. For us to help other artists, we need to help ourselves. And by helping ourselves, we need your help, whoever's watching or listening. Please go listen to Drinkin In Work. Go listen to all the other stuff we've done before, including the 1940s. Tell your friends, join the Mac Mafia, join Jesus. Jesus is in the Mac Mafia.
Do you see how much I'm out here sweating for this?
Yeah, Matthew's sweating bullets.
Ugh.
So we can so yeah. But like we, you know,
And John, you know what they have to do
we can't afford to do it but until people
before
start
before they take care of us? That's why at the end of the podcast now, what's our tagline now? It makes so much sense. Take care of yourselves.
yeah, why don't you guys do us a favor or why don't you people do us a favor and take care of yourselves?